Hello there, I'm Moldy and I've been collecting Lego for quite some time now. In fact, I've been collecting battle packs specifically for over 15 years. So when it comes to a battle pack, I look for some key things. First off, we've got to have a vehicle in there, a scene. Although it is really cool getting some minifigures with some nice rock work, I don't want a box that just includes like 90 slopes. There's got to be a vehicle, but I'd also like some sort of scene. We've seen it a bit throughout a few of the larger Clone Wars sets, but it would be nice to get a little scene. Either way, vehicle, scene, and then enough minifigures. We're not just talking a regular 4 minifigures, but if we're specifically talking about a Clone Trooper battle pack or a Clone Wars battle pack, not even just about our favourite clones. I also look for droids outnumbering the Clone Troopers. It's how it was in the Clone Wars. It's how it usually never is in a Lego set. We always get more clones than we do droids. We need a set or a battle pack with more droids than clones, a speeder, and a little scene. And that is why I do believe this is the perfect battle pack. Of course, there are a few minifigures alongside this that we'll take a look at in just a second. But before I begin, instructions will be up on Rebrickable, and members will also have access to this through the members Discord. This is usually where we cut to the corner of the desk and have a nice close-up, but I think it would be more beneficial if I put some close-up images on screen instead. This speeder itself does function like a speeder does in Universe. No, it doesn't quite hover above the desk. I have used the cursed wheels we've seen in Marvel, we've seen in DC, and we haven't seen in Star Wars. But these wheels are amazing. It's just like the buildable chopper droid. That itself had some wheels and allowed it to ride along desks. And I think this is a really cool play feature that I'd love to see in a Lego Star Wars set. I honestly, after building this, sat on the desk just driving it around for probably like half an hour, but it felt like hours playing with this because it's a speeder that can actually be driven around as well as look really cool on display. And speaking of display, this little scenery, which originally was just going to be a 6x6 plate, but I took a look and thought, how could we make it better? I know, add a black border. I do it to my dioramas. Lego have done it to not only their dioramas, but their helmets, their ships, and it really does improve any MOC build. So if you want to take your MOCs to the next level, just give it a black border. It really cannot be any easier. The planet I've tried to recreate with the design here is actually the planet we're introduced to Cut Lawquane and the Lawquane family in the Deserter. And we've probably seen 501st speeder bikes elsewhere in the Clone Wars, but that's what I was going for, and I think it represents it pretty well. If you get some of these 1x1 clear pieces, which are included in the parts list and would be included in the theoretical set, and position them on the base, there's no chance of me explaining this any better, so just copy what it shows in the video and the instructions if you're building along at home. Then you should be able to slightly illegally, there is a little bend in them, but it's nothing that's going to damage any of your bricks or anything that would be too worried about. And it's probably something that even Lego would end up including in some instruction from decades past. You are able to position the speeder hovering over this little mound of dirt. Even the wheels are not attached. And whilst you could definitely just stand it on with the wheels anyway, I'm sure you can balance it somehow. I think this looks really, really cool on display. And for that reason, I don't want to break it. Now, I mentioned early on about the minifigures included, and of course I've gone with the heavy on the actual speeder. It kind of makes sense, and I honestly cannot explain why. But we're also adding a regular 501st into the mix. We're getting 2 Clone Troopers, and I think that's pretty good for a battle pack if we get a few more pieces towards something like a scene. But we still want to get more droids than clones, so we're going to level it out first and include 2 B1 battle droids. They're fairly easy to add, and usually 2 of these does equate to a minifigure when we look at some of the larger sets. So we've got 2 B1s to be fighting off the 501st Clone Troopers, but we're not stopping there. Of course we're not here on the Master Moldy channel. Up next, we're going to be throwing around a B2 battle droid because we need more B2s. There's not as many as B1s, which is why we're including the majority B1s, and I'm just noticing that official Lego B2s don't actually have a solid, well, the newer mold doesn't really have that much of a solid Lego connector. So we're just going to stand them up and hope they don't fall a second time. But I really think the mix of 2 clones, 2 B1s, and either a B2, instead we could get a tactical droid, instead we could get a droidica, we could get any number of different droid units, and especially the sniper droidica, I think, that came with one of the original AT-RT walkers, which is a set I remember fondly. Really makes the battle pack look all that much better, because the only build you're getting in this set is the Bark Speeder with the little display stand or mound of dirt that you could instead use to display your other troopers. Perhaps even get the 3 droids and the clone trooper on the one display. But just to tie it back to what I said at the start of the video, we're getting the vehicle in this Bark Speeder. We're getting the little scene in this display. And if LEGO really wanted to save on parts, they wouldn't include the base of it. I'm sure that all these parts in total cost less than 20, even £25, which we're seeing more recently. And if it was at that higher price tag, we'd definitely get a few more, at least one more minifigure, one more droid, and perhaps another little build to go with it. But then we're also getting the opposing army. It's something that LEGO don't give us too often, and I'm sure in the upcoming days there'll be another video of me talking over all the minifigure problems that LEGO have in their sets. 3 droids, 2 clones, a Bark Speeder, and a bit of landscape. I really don't know what's going to beat this. And funnily enough, this is only the first of a few other videos that I've got coming out, trying to create the perfect battle packs for the Rebellion, for the Empire, for the clones here. This is the Republic out of the way. We're starting with arguably what could be the best battle pack of them all. And I'm sure I'm going to come back and compare them to see who truly is the best battle pack in LEGO Star Wars. But let me know what you think about this down in the comments. Drop a like if you did enjoy. And again, you can find the instructions online. I'm really excited over the next couple of weeks to see how I'm going to top this design, because not a load of builds can actually use these giant wheels. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you are subscribed before watching the next one. May the bricks be with you always.